When asked if she has a message for the world, Aspen responded, "It could happen to anyone," which is true. She didn't do anything wrong and faced up to 33 years in prison for something she didn't do. There has to be accountability. There has to be care. It shouldn't take a fucking lawyer to get treatment, and no one should have to die. And no one should have to die to prove that the system is broken.
America's dead.
We like to support our local community here as much as we can. And so that includes sharing as much as we can, like we did with Anthony's stepmother or mother-in-law, who was pulled over, who was kidnapped by ICE. So if you have any pressing issues, if you shoot us a DM, we'll be happy to share it. Which is why we wanted to share this today with the help of not only Indy, but Descendant Bloom, who's in chat right now. Say hi, Descent. Who wrote this brilliant? I really do like your writing, Descent. It's not a. I know Indy mentioned that it's not like a SEO or like low attention span kind of optimal, but for those who have an attention span that's longer than 10 seconds, it is brilliant. I really think you're a great writer.
Yeah.
So let's just go through this.
I was pretty impressed myself. So kudos.
This is the daughter of Halo Benson, who's another good friend of ours in the community, fellow Assange activist. And this is her story. She was starved, neglected, degraded. This is the story of an autistic woman of color, Aspen, who was failed by Peach County, Georgia, facing 33 years in prison. She's locked in a legal fight against a system that continues to harm people. When a young woman left Oklahoma in May, she thought she was taking a short trip to visit friends. It was a chance to see her familiar faces who had since moved away from home, an opportunity to clear her head. She's only 27. Her name is Aspen. She's autistic, an artist, an activist, and soul who tries to see the good in people no matter what. But within days, that trip she'd been looking forward to had become a nightmare. After a music festival in Florida, the RV she was riding in was pulled over on the highway in Peach County, Georgia, where officers claimed they smelled marijuana. By nightfall, she was locked inside a rural jail that she had never heard of, accused of trafficking drugs she didn't own or know about, and trapped inside a system that didn't understand her and didn't care to. Georgia's fucking crazy, man. I'm sorry. Georgia's insane.
Oh, it's nuts. And you're going to learn about just how crazy Georgia is in this article.
For 15 days, she endured starvation, humiliation, and medical neglect. She lost 9 pounds in 2 weeks. As a lifelong vegetarian, she was denied truly meat-free meals and grew violently ill from the food they'd given her, which is probably not even good even if you're not a vegetarian. When the jail ran out of toilet paper and pads, which is a common occurrence, her mother offered to donate supplies where the sheriff refused. She's home now, but she's not free. She's released on bond. But she waits for the next court date where her life is suspended between hearings and legal bill invoices. The fight didn't end at the jail door. It just got more expensive. And if convicted, Aspen will face 33 years in prison. Just an autistic woman who had no idea what she was into. Her family created a GoFundMe to attempt to raise the money for the trial, but has only been able to get a fraction of the money needed for the legal representation so far. It looks like we're almost halfway there. No. Yeah, almost halfway there.
Well,
we'll show this at the end.
Sort of.
But please, if you can, please check out this GoFundMe.
Even that 12.5
gave 200. Anything you guys can do, give money to here first. This is urgent.
The problem is even that 12.5 is a short. He probably can't hear me. The 12.5 is only a small portion of what they're actually going to need. Unfortunately, they're probably going to need 50, 60, 70. This is for the first wave of whatever they're going to need.
Yeah, I'd imagine. It's fucked. That's so fucked. When this shit happens to your kid, and then there's nothing to be done about it, the state is absolutely fucking blown. Forget Palantir drones. You're already in a police state. So how did we get here? Because it started as something good, a road trip, a little escape. Aspen had been working on art, trying to recover from the burnout, a needed change of scenery. She was planning to enroll in college for criminal psychology in the fall. So when her best friend had since moved away, had invited her to stay with them for the first few weeks to join them at music festivals for the summer, it felt like a first breath of freedom she had in months. She packed light, her art supplies, a few clothes, her medication. The plan was to dance under the sun, see people she hadn't seen in years, and then head back home at the end of the summer. But on the way back from a Florida musical festival, everything changed. They were driving through Georgia. The highway stretched wide and empty when the flashing lights appeared behind them. The officer said they smelled marijuana. They pulled the RV over, searched it, tore through bags and boxes, and found drugs that didn't belong to her. She told the officer she knew nothing about it. The man driving the RV told them too. He told the magistrate too. It didn't matter. Everyone inside was charged with trafficking. This is despite the fact that Georgia does not have an actual party law saying they had to do that, but it was just because they could. Aspen ends in this locked up small county jail cell she'd never heard of, trying to explain that she was autistic, that she needed her medication, that she didn't understand what was happening, but the system just didn't care. To them, she was just another body in a cell, another case number, which is what the police state wants from you. They want the free labor. I think that is an important addendum to the prison industrial complex. It exists to profit off of human bodies. And that's what they're now doing to 27-year-old autistic women, Black autistic women. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, so like, is the $12K, that's for a lawyer, or is that for like the bond charges? Do you know?
It's for all of their expenses, whether that's for legal fees or an expert in autism that can testify to her condition and to how jails treat autistic people in jails as part of a trial. But there's also retainers that have to go to lawyers and payments that are due. And every time they talk to the lawyer, that's another another payment that comes up. So
what are the likelihood, like if she got a public defender, like what would be the likelihood?
Forget it. Like, she'd be toast.
She'd be toast.
She'd be toast.
Oh yeah.
Public defender has thousands of cases at any time. So like they wouldn't be able to dedicate any specific time. They wouldn't be looking for experts. They wouldn't be using state resources to try to fight this. They'd plea it down or they just lose. And PD is useless. You need, in this kind of case, you need a lawyer. And lawyers aren't cheap. And experts aren't cheap. And expenses, look, they live in Oklahoma. The last time when Aspen was in county, Halo drove from Oklahoma to Georgia and slept in her car for 2 weeks. So maybe it'll get her some meals and a hotel room. Like, I'm okay with that.
As much as she,
Amber's there.
They really do. This for the first.
I see Amber's in chat.
Yeah, they travel to and from Oklahoma to Georgia.
There you go.
Now, do you think this would happen if she got pulled over in Oklahoma instead of Georgia? Because I don't think so. I think Georgia's fucking insane, especially the cops.
It depends.
Very racist. It's a very racist state.
You don't think Oklahoma's a racist state?
I think less so.
I don't know.
I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
My brother, America is a racist state. It doesn't matter which one.
I agree with you. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying, like, I think it's like less.
Well,
I'm
you're
sorry
going
for
to
the
find
Georgia
out.
racism,
I don't know
the
if you remember to
Georgia
scroll down. If you remembered when you scroll down further, but the sheriff is a person of color himself. So America is a racist place. Yes, I don't know what race the cop was that specifically pulled her over, and what that was. Also, he smelled weed. What, from a squad car? They're in an RV. Like, that wasn't the reason to pull them over.
Yeah,
there
what
must
did they
have
get originally
been
pulled over for?
I don't know what the story was,
The
but
officer
they
said
stopped
smelled
overnight at a
marijuana.
rest stop. Right, they stopped at a rest stop overnight, and I think that they were followed from that rest stop and pulled over once they were moving on the highway.
Okay. And they found weed? Just weed?
They found a lot more than weed. No, well, at first they found weed, but they also found a lot more drugs that belonged to the driver that Aspen did not know were in the car, and they didn't know that he sold drugs and had that level of had anything, let alone the amount that was there. And it turns out that they find out that this was like an MO thing. Like, the people that she was going there with, they would sell crafts and he would sell drugs in the background, and they would kind of do this together. There was never like any quote unquote evidence of this, but they've been hearing things as things have progressed since, that it seems that this was what they were doing as a group. Now the people that were with the driver, that normally would travel with the driver, were not on this trip. It was just Aspen and this driver guy. That was one of the things that was weird about this whole story, was that Aspen went to go see her friends. And then her friends at the last minute said, "We can't go to Florida, but you go with our friend and go have a good time." Which I thought was a little weird, but they were all going to go together initially. So, okay. Friend's pretty trustworthy. Seems like a decent guy.
Wasn't she visiting her friends in Florida?
She was visiting her friends in a different state, and then they were traveling to Florida to this music festival, and they were driving back to I think it was Tennessee. From Florida to Tennessee, drove through Georgia, and got pulled over.
And that's without the other friends. Just
without the other friends, because they were still in Tennessee the whole time. There's a bunch of other stuff to this story. And I interviewed them. They told me their story. We're going to run that on Saturday night on INN. We're going to do an INN one-on-one at 10 o'clock Eastern. And I'll run that interview. That's just a small snippet of it.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to Indie News Network. Big fan, of course.
Yeah, we've linked it. We've linked it in the YouTube. Be sure to check out the website and all that if you have not.
Let's wrap this up. 15 days of hell. That's what she experienced in this tiny ass little Georgia jail cell. Well, you're supposed to sleep on that?
They give you a mattress, I think, and a pillow, but like they give you thin clothes.
It's a shitty pillow. I mean,
it's freezing cold in there. According to Aspen, it's freezing cold. They don't get to go outside ever. They didn't get to go outside for 2 weeks. Didn't see sun. And that is the actual cell, according to Descent in Bloom, who wrote the article. She said that Sunday night when I was reading this, that's the actual jail cell, like from the prison, that size. Wow.
That's
so yeah, 15 days of hell.
I don't know if I could live with my thoughts that long. That's terrifying.
She couldn't tell if it was morning or night, if the world outside still existed. They weren't allowed outdoors, not even once. Windows were covered in dark security film that sealed them off from the sun, from time itself. Days blurred together. There were no clocks in her cell, no sunlight, no change in temperature, just the same fluorescent hum and freezing air that left her bones aching. Every meal was a battle between hunger and nausea. By the end of the 2 weeks, she'd lost 9 pounds.
That's insane.
Which is not healthy at all.
Okay,
even if you're on a diet, the healthiest is like 4.
So
that's
for reference,
that's like the max.
Right. So for reference, I've suffered from gastritis, like really bad gastritis, for a year. In a year, because of a like actual health condition, I only lost, I think, 34 pounds. I was like gross and skinny, but like just to provide that context of like a year versus like that time and losing 9 pounds, that's real bad. God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So by the end of the 2 weeks, lost 9 pounds, but that when she needed medical help, she asked for an ibuprofen for a migraine in the morning, didn't get it until bedtime. She asked for a rescue inhaler for asthma, and it never came, even though the nurse told her mother she'd be given one. And this is a prime example of why people die in Peach County, because the state does not give a shit. She had to fight to receive her B12 injections for chronic pernicious anemia. The one thing her body can't. Yes, the one thing her body can't survive without. The nurse refused to speak to her mother, citing a HIPAA, but wouldn't let Aspen sign the release form that would have made communication legal. Her mother eventually had to hire a lawyer just to get her medical care, and even then, the nurse resisted the attorney's request. That costed thousands alone, and they're only 4,000 of the way there. In her pod, which is like the common area, there was another woman, someone with severe developmental disabilities who seemed to lost most of the time, unable to follow what was happening around her. Aspen said it was like watching a child trapped in a place meant to break adults. Even after she got out, she couldn't stop thinking about her. One of the first things she told her mother after being released was to try to get that girl help. Because after everything she endured, the cold, the sickness, the hunger, Aspen was still worried about someone else. The first thing she'd asked her mother to do once released on bail was to help that girl.
And she told me about it in our interview too.
Yeah. And just for a quick bit of context on this as well, pernicious anemia is not like a light condition. It's an autoimmune disorder that prevents your body from absorbing vitamin B12. You cannot live without vitamin B12. If you have a B12 deficiency, your nerves, like the myelin sheath in your nerves, will start to decay. So this isn't like a treatment is optional thing. This is like, if you don't get B12, you will fucking die. It is a required thing for human beings to absorb. So
yeah,
that they lied to her mom about getting a rescue inhaler. Like, oh yeah, we gave it to her, but they didn't, and it could have literally cost her life. In theory, like, wow.
Lucy, hey ya.
That kind of shows the heart of this poor girl. That's fucking terrible. This shit would only happen to good people, which is fucking insane. The fact that
it can happen to anyone. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They can literally do this to anyone.
This can happen to your kids too. I mean, that's why this is important.
And at this point, we're pretty much at the normalization of like, hi, we're a police state. We're just a police state now. We have a Gestapo. The Gestapo can just come in and just grab you, and it doesn't matter. This is some of the moves in America writ large right now should terrify you.
And especially if you have kids, especially if you have kids with a cognitive disability, because they're much more likely to be placed in solitary confinement, denied medical care, ignored when they ask for help. So this is not. This is a cruelly usual thing for the state.
But I thought cognitive disabilities only happened to people who did Tylenol. That's what the science man told me on TV.
Yeah, we're also getting new COVID vaccines.
That's only children's Tylenol, Himbo. That's children's liquid Tylenol.
That's only
before they get their injections.
You know what's crazy about RFK Jr.? Nobody can imitate him. Like, I can do like pretty good
like
house shows on the spot, but like I can't imitate.
I've heard a couple of dudes.
Yeah,
there's a dude over on AM Wake Up, a guy named Chris from Rantcast, who does like a perfect fucking RFK. Oh my god,
that's amazing. That's amazing. I can't. I've tried imitating him, and
Make sure you get your Pfizer vaccine, and also don't take Tylenol.
Oh yeah, it's really okay. Fucks with your throat.
Yeah.
Jail wasn't just confinement; it was sensory chaos, which I imagine is even worse for an autistic person. This kind of environment can turn sound, light, and human cruelty into physical pain. The lights never dimmed. The buzz of fluorescent fixtures burned through her eyelids, even when she tried to sleep. Every clang of a metal door hit her like a shockwave. For most people, those sounds fade to the background noise. For her, they were sharp and endless, a wall of noise she's going to shut out. No, I know most public institutions, including like hospitals, they have like these like fluorescent light noises that go on all the time. They're like, and it like, I know people who've been in these jails. It's not good sound wise. That's for sure. Even simple communication broke down as you process his language literally and slowly when under stress. But the jail moved fast and pushed hesitation. The guards didn't care if she didn't understand or needed time to process what they said. They took her silence as disrespect. 4.4% of inmates meet criteria for autism spectrum disorder, a rate about 4 times higher than the general population.
It's like they're yelling at her. It's like, how come you're not listening? Why aren't you moving? You know, like imagine screaming at somebody that can't process that fast enough, and it only enrages the person that it looks like Buford T. Whatever his name is. You know, like it's a cartoon character, that sheriff guy. Like, oh my god, this whole story is crazy about how these guys get elected sheriff, and it basically makes them like the king of the county. They can lock you up, they can fuck you and then fuck you over, throw you in a hole and disappear you.
For people like us, every sound is louder, every smell is stronger, every rule less clear. Dissent is referring to herself here. When guards barked orders and changed routines without warning, it left her disoriented and terrified of doing something wrong. She was in a strange place in a land far away from home. The lack of structure, the lack of familiarity, the constant punishment, the mocking when she had asked questions. It all stripped away her ability to regulate, think, and to breathe. And her time there was filled with sounds. The sounds of clanking metal and screaming. The sounds of fists pounding against steel doors. Men fighting in the ward next to hers. There's men in there? Oh my God. Violence echoing through concrete for what felt like forever. When she realized someone could be hurt, she banged on the door, trying to get help. She felt it deeper than others may have. Autistic people often have the instinct to protect and stand up for what is right. That's called justice sensitivity. It's a feeling that one won't let them stay silent when someone is suffering. It's almost visceral. So she hit her door again and again until her hands hurt to get help. Even then, it took ages for anyone to come. In Peach County Jail, noise was the only way to get help, banging on the door. Georgia's prisons are so dangerous and mismanaged that they routinely violate inmates' constitutional rights, allowing rampant violence and sexual abuse. Gangs control much of the system, while understaffing and corruption let the abuse continue unchecked. And Peach County Jail isn't just a building, it's a kingdom, and the man who runs it isn't a warden. He's a constitutional officer with powers older than most of the laws that govern him. His office sits in the same building as the jail, giving him near total control over what happens inside. In Georgia, the sheriff is not a county employee. He's a state constitutional officer listed as the Georgia Constitution as independent from the local government. My God. That independence means that he alone controls the jail's policies, staff, and medical care. The county pays the bills but cannot tell him how to spend them. His name is Robert Buck Shannon. He took office this year, but the jail's reputation didn't start with him. The abuses predate his tenure by decades. Peach County, Georgia is the place where most people die from medical neglect, and guards sexually assault inmates. It's a carceral system where the DOJ released a 93-page document of unconstitutional conditions in 2024, including inmates being abused and subjected to violence.
Picture of health there. Nice, fit cops, I'll tell you.
The people who support
Thank you,
this
Charlie G. Good to see you. Buford T. Justice. That was the answer. That was the guy's last. I couldn't think of the last name. Justice for Aspen.
Yeah, they the people who support this, by the way, will talk for like 8 hours about like USSR gulags without understanding that the United States like incarceral system is like 10 times worse than anything Stalin could have even dreamed of. It's fun. It's good stuff.
And it's state by state. It's different. Like if you end up in New Jersey, it's a little bit different handle than this, which is literally like constitutional times and very backwoods and very 1950s. And I heard somewhere else that it's not just here they racially segregate prisoners, and they technically try to do it to cut down on racial violence between those groups. But you think there isn't violence within those groups? Of course there is. It almost encourages it, you know?
See, where I'm from, like we figured out this problem. We just convince them to kill themselves. It works out real good. It's good stuff. But that's a topic for another podcast.
Boss Hog is right, Mastermind. That's exactly the guy on the right. Definitely looks like Boss Hog.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
I can't unsee. Oh, wow. Wow.
These guys have authority.
Apparently,
it's scary.
Beyond the state government, too. And these are the guys in power, these old fat fucks. And when he ran, he promised reform, talking about mental health, hope, fixing what was broken. But inside Peach County Jail,
hope and change.
At all.
Oh my God, no. Brother, the thick blue line.
This is why democracy doesn't work. Something that I found out is that in Georgia, if someone dies or is starved or denied medical treatment, the county claims that they're not responsible. Victims cannot sue the state either because Georgia protects itself under sovereign immunity. And when the sheriff acts in his official capacity, the law says he represents the state, and the state cannot be sued unless it chooses to be. It almost never does. It's insane when you realize what that means. The jail and sheriff report to the state of Georgia, and the state is responsible. The state gave itself immunity, and the sheriff operates basically under no pretext whatsoever or any sort of accountability to the law.
So you have absolutely no
total immunity.
Just no recourse.
Total immunity. That sounds like someone that you can totally elect and trust and not get carried away with any sort of power whatsoever. It's insane.
And somewhere it's deemed in the state constitution that they have to elect the sheriff in each county. Wow.
Under the previous sheriff, inmate Maurice Campbell died in Peach County custody after staff ignored repeated pleas for medical care, where the family sued, and they said that the staff watched his health collapse, ignored clear signs of kidney failure, and never sent them to a hospital. His family sued, arguing that his death was caused by Peach County's own policy and procedure for medical aid for inmates. And the court dismissed it. They said the county wasn't responsible, the sheriff was immune under state sovereignty laws, and the law deemed his death a bureaucratic tragedy rather than a constitutional one. This is exactly why we have to help Halo fight for her daughter Aspen. She doesn't belong in a system like this one that starves, isolates, and abandons people with medical conditions it doesn't understand. Her body already paid the price once. 15 days was enough to show how little that place cares for anyone's survival, let alone someone like her. Halo is doing everything that she can, but she's one person against an entire system built to grind people down and hold themselves accountable. Even public accountability is locked away. The Peach County Jail's Google reviews are disabled, which a lot of companies already like edit their own Google reviews and change.
Well, if you think about it, everybody would give it a 1-star review. So I almost
if it was a jail,
but at the same time, where do you post stories like that? Because you know what's coming for the rest of the internet. I mean, it's already starting. And I don't know if you talked about that in your earlier coverage, or the Larry Ellison now looking to buy Warner Brothers and yet another piece of the puzzle, so that they can, that's CNN, so they can further control, or maybe they'll just shut down CNN and make it disappear.
We're going to surveil everybody. Everyone will be on their best behavior. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
How they install the printed.
Sorry, I have a problem.
Because once they collect all of your data on TikTok and whatever you're watching on television and all of the media that you consume, then they can deem you a threat. Like there's not a doubt in my mind that the reason why she was treated like this is because of her history as an Assange activist. I don't think that's a coincidence.
It's most likely that, because whenever you see these stories, there's always some tie towards speaking to power, at least in my experience.
They
never like a random
Greta Thunberg naked and beat her.
Yep, they did. Oh, they did.
That's a 20.
I don't know if they even know who she was or what she did. I don't know if they ever even took the time to look her up, honestly. The fact that she had an advocate streaming for her would have caused them to inflict more punishment than anything else that she would have done. Assange is out, and what she did in the past, she did in the past. I don't think that in this case it really had very much impact. Fortunately and unfortunately, but I don't think that either way that would have made a difference. It didn't get her pulled over. I mean, it wasn't having anything to do with her that the thing got that the RV got pulled over. They allegedly suspected drugs, and they knew something. They obviously knew something.
I just wouldn't. I'm not saying that was the case. I'm just saying it wouldn't be a coincidence in my head, because I've seen people like at least like stopped for way less.
Well, weren't you?
Activists are totally targeted. I just don't think
literally
in
stopped
this
at the
case.
airport by the FBI, and I don't.
He was stopped at the airport because they thought he was like a Russian, they were angling like, "Are you a Russian agent?" Like, it was actually
no. If you have any sort of online presence, like even as little as me, you're a target. That's why I'm saying it's maybe not likely, but I wouldn't be surprised at all. These people have information on all of you, as like way more than you can imagine.
Dude, I'm going to Cuba,
and it's all cross-referenced through Palantir now.
Yeah.
All these state departments, they all have their cross-reference databases, and they can collect a digital profile on anybody.
An Antifa leader. That's the great thing about Antifa. Let me break down the Antifa thing for just
I'm an Antifa Kremlin Chinese agent.
Yeah, we're all the same. But so the Antifa
I'm also Muslim.
Yeah. So the Antifa thing is fascinating because I'm getting better at this. The Antifa thing is fascinating because Antifa isn't really an organization. Antifa just encompasses like an anti-fascist, like in opposition to fascism. So what they're essentially doing is they're creating an organization of anyone who is opposing fascism as the United States government and its Western satellites, really, are just going full 200% fascism. So they're basically
straight up admit to the fash. Yes.
Yeah. So they're just balls deep in the fash. And now they're like, oh, well, if you're not about that, you're a terrorist. And I've been screaming about this for a while now. But the next terrorist threat was always going to be homegrown terrorism, which is essentially the people who do not comply and submit to the direction the West is going in, which is the direction of every single failing empire. America right now, at present, has every single symptom of a historically failing empire. Every single one. military overextension, clamping down, moving from sort of free neoliberalism to open fascism. It can't be more clear. Threatening 500% tariffs on China or whatever they're doing. That's not historical, obviously, but goddamn, is U.S. certain bad. But yeah, this is all just historical. And it's just going to get like this. We're just going to see more cases like this, is kind of my point.
When a system is built to shield itself from accountability, stories like Aspen stop being accidents, they become policy. Georgia's jails operates like kingdoms, with each sheriff ruling over their own fiefdom under the protection of sovereign immunity. When someone dies, when someone is starved or denied care, the county shrugs. The state hides behind its own laws, and the cycle repeats. And Aspen survived barely. That was only 15 days in. Thank God she's out. She came home with her body thinner, her faith smaller, and her future put on hold. The degree that she wanted to earn in criminal psychology, of all things, feels like a cruel irony now. She wanted to understand how people become trapped in the system, and instead the system came for her. And Halo.
Not only that, I just want to stop you there. Criminal psychology, if you have a conviction on your record, you can't like get a job in criminal psychology. So not only is this robbing her of her future in prison, but even if she gets out of this and she's convicted of anything, she can't pursue criminal psychology in that manner.
Dude, good luck getting a college degree with like charges on you or like a criminal background. You can't getting jobs too. That's probably even worse. No, I would say probably
they got to dismiss this.
Yeah, this has to be dismissed. That's the only way.
I mean,
her mother still fighting not only for her daughter's case, but for the idea of what happened in Peach County shouldn't happen to anyone. Not another autistic woman like the one that Aspen referenced earlier. Not another person with a disability. Not to his soul whose humanity gets lost in bureaucracy. Georgia won't reform itself. It never does. The system won't. And change will only come when people stop pretending these stories are isolated, because when the names stop being forgotten and when we treat survival as the beginning of justice, not the end of it. And her Aspen story is not over. It's just a warning. Georgia needs change. It needs it yesterday. This whole country needs change. Disabilities like autism deserve to be understood by the legal system that doesn't weaponize ignorance or hide behind immunity. When asked if she has a message for the world, Aspen responded, "It could happen to anyone," which is true. She didn't do anything wrong and faced up to 33 years in prison for something she didn't do. There has to be accountability. There has to be care. It shouldn't take a fucking lawyer to get treatment, and no one should have to die. And no one should have to die to prove that the system is broken.
See, it says on Saturday, in the coming days, I'm going to publish an article or a one-on-one interview that I did with Aspen and Halo last Tuesday. And they told me their story. And I listened. And I asked a couple of questions, but I just basically let them talk. And it's fucking terrible. So this is less than a minute of it.
Let's hear a little.
Thanks to Descent and Bloom. Descent and Bloom made an edit. She used CapCut to take out all the ums and the uhs and the spaces and stuff to make it easier to listen to.
Descent and Bloom's in chat. Give her a shout out. Again, shout out to Indy and Indie News Network for putting out this interview, which is going to come on Saturday. Stay tuned on Saturday. Again, subscribe to Indie News Network to check that out, and keep your notifications on. It's coming.
The police made my daughter pull down her pants and pee on the side of the highway. This is in Peach County, Georgia, on the side of US 75, on the side of the highway. When we did get her out of the treatment just in the county jail there, they would not address, it took her lawyer, filing some sort of motion or whatever to get the nurse to even speak with me. She wouldn't let Aspen sign a HIPAA thing so that I could speak with her. We had to have the lawyer do that. So she missed one of her B12 injections. She has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's a lot.
EDS is brutal too. That's like, it's an issue of like hypermobility, but it's bad. It's hard to manage.
It's not someone who belongs in prison. Oh.
What happened?
I just got feedback on myself. I don't know.
Oh, whoops. Help Aspen's plight. Really. Do whatever you can. Understand a lot of this. I understand a lot of this audience is not exactly loaded, but I'm going to give a little bit too later on. But an activist,
Hey, buddy.
gorgeous young girl, autistic, black. This shouldn't happen. This doesn't deserve to happen. Someone like her. It really doesn't.
So there's the fact that this is now a federal case. So she's now facing federal charges versus all the stuff that we talked about was county and state level stuff in Georgia. There's federal charges involved here, which is even worse. So
yeah,
they again need to get experts involved and they need to get good lawyers to be able to try to fight this. And I don't know exactly how. I haven't spoken to lawyers. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what the story is. All I know is she's going to need a lot of money. And what I can do is help get a lot of people knowing what's happening and seeing how much they can help get her some money to pay for all that.
Maybe the Assange team, do they? Because I know they deal with federal charges. I don't know if that's possible. But like, I know the Assange team has some lawyers.
I've reached out to a few people already. I don't, Halo said that the activist community, Assange activist community has been incredibly helpful. As far as the Assange family and the network that helped to get him out, I don't have any statement or I haven't heard anything about anyone doing anything. I saw a couple of the journalists that were more on the inside shared this. I read through this article on Sunday night and cut that and shared it on Twitter, and that got shared around quite a bit. We just need a bunch more people, all hands on deck. We're gonna do a fundraiser live stream later on at the end of this month. We're gonna announce the details of that Saturday night at the end and at the beginning of the one-on-one. And again, it's everything that we can do to help. We're talking to anyone who will listen and anyone who's offering right now.
Yeah, guys, if we don't fight back against this bullshit now, if we let this shit get normalized fully,
it's gonna happen to your kids. It's gonna be your kids next.
It's gonna happen to everyone. Just look at all the shit that ICE is doing. And need I not remind everybody who the fuck trains them, right?
Yeah, just kidnapping fucking farmers and workers who've been here for 20 years on green card.
Yeah, we need to push back against this, because if they normalize the police state shit, then that's what they're going to use to enforce all of the digital prison shit. Okay?
It's all connected. In a country where we let pedophiles roam free amongst our ranks and we allow this shit to happen, there's no point living here anymore. There's literally no point. I don't see a reason why.
Well,
the thing is,
to her credit, Dissenting Bloom has been writing about the Trump administration potentially targeting the mentally disabled for months. There was something that they had passed back in June that talked about, kids. So she also, I was going to say, today wrote an article about a 15-year-old autistic kid that was in the hospital, and the minute they let him out to have a trial, he had appendicitis. He had a trial, and they scooped him up at the trial.
Oh,
at the courthouse.
I saw that video. I saw that video.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit right now. And
no,
it's if we don't stand up and fight, there's going to be no one left for us to stand up for us.
No,
it's that old poem.
I said this before, but like we're pretty deep into the first they came for poem. We're like real far into it. We're not at the beginning at this point.
Nope. Well, because right now it's pro-Palestine supporters in addition to Venezuelans and people who've been here and trying to go through the system legally and have green cards or have work permits, but they said something that Beitar USA didn't like, and they handed Trump a list.
Yeah,
that's how Mahmoud Khalil and Ramesia Ozturk ended up in ICE facilities for months each. Months of their lives lost. Months that Mahmoud Khalil didn't get to see his first kid born.
The shit that happens after that, too.
Well, yeah, because they still both have trials and they're both pending deportation.
Yep.
Still.
And it's
another one
just
wow. Yesterday. So shit's getting real. Shit's getting really real. Worse than
well, I don't know if you watched Hardlands, but Kit's been talking about, what they've been doing in Chicago.
Yeah.
I saw somebody actually followed the ICE agents in their car with like blaring horns and stuff to let people know, hey, ICE is coming. I think that's great. But
yeah, and
I fight in every creative way.
I just like to drive the point home, guys. Every one of these stories we covered tonight is connected. Do not make a mistake on that. They are all connected. The expansion, I
wonder why they're all connected or how. I don't do a segment called Fuck Israel every Sunday for a reason.
Yeah, well, I am going to blame, as I always do, capitalism, because that's my whole personality, so I have no choice. But
it is all these things are tied to capital. The police, the prison industrial complex exists to turn you into a number and to profit off of your human body. And that's
eventually
what exploited labor does too.
I guarantee you the biggest wet dream of these freaks is just straight back to slavery. They're trying to figure out like, oh, we just arrest them and then they do free labor and all we have to do is like give them worse living conditions than they already have. Like that works. Like, yeah, that's thank you, Descent in Blue. Fuck capitalism. Fuck Israel too, but fuck capitalism as well. Which I guess fuck capitalism is fuck Israel. And I guess fuck Israel is also fuck capitalism. Because imperialism
and
is
the United States, remember, like capitalism is the national religion.
Yeah, it always has been. And it always goes back to that Protestant bullshit, that Protestant work ethic, that whole concept that your wealth makes you like more valued in the eyes of God. That was a brilliant scam. I don't know who came up with it. I should look that up and do a mini doc if I ever get around to all the mini docs I've been planning. But
also correct, the 14th Amendment.
Yeah,
you're basically.
So if you need the link for this, by the way, you go to @Halo Benson, HALO Benson, BENSON. Do you see it there?
Said it a few times in shadows.
That it's pinned. Yep, great.
What?
Yeah, and again, Halo and Aspen too. I mean, Aspen fought to stand out in the street and fight for Assange and protest on his behalf. Halo was sending me stuff earlier about Aspen's activism and just how much time she spent out in the streets trying to help get other young people motivated and off the couch and involved in fighting the system. And she is an activist herself. And what it also does is it takes her out of her activism. Halo has been doing postcard campaigns for pardon Julian Assange and for, no longer funding Israel and no longer sending money over and weaponry over to Israel. So she'll send you a whole bunch of postcards that are pre-written and stamped for you to send to a group of Congress people or senators or the White House or whatever it is. And all you have to do is literally just write something on it or not even and drop it in a mailbox. And those campaigns do have effect. So she's been amazing for years at doing that.
Does she speak to you in the interview? That's coming out?
Yeah, okay. She does a lot. She does a lot of the talking, actually.
Okay, I'd like to hear her
and
own words exactly what happened, because this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, and it's just
you hear both from Halo and from Aspen. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Greed is evangelized.
Which is the biggest hypocrisy of this country, right? Because Jesus did feed the hungry and the poor, the first supposed Christian nation.
What was that quote? What was that quote from him? Like, is something about like
it's easier to pass through the
that
of a camel than it is than for a rich person to enter the gates of heaven or something like that.
He's basically like anti-capitalist out the gates, and then they killed him. And I just got to say, that's a recurring theme at this point. Ironically, usually orchestrated by the people who revere the man. God, we're cooked. God damn it.
Most people who hate God are secular, and that's the people who are running this country. I think Judaism is mostly a front for these people. It's mostly just not believing in God, which I'm not saying you have to, but none of these people believe in God. I think they worship demons, actually. The people who rule us. Our ruling class is demonic. It's sick. And
it's Alex Jones. The demons.
No, like
they're interdimensional demons. I'm telling you, Joe. I'm telling you.
33 demons. 33. That's why it's 33 years. Somebody actually hit me with that in one of the replies on how she's facing 33 years. Like, oh, there's that number 33. Like, bro, take the numerology hat off, bro. Come on.
Oh, fuck me with a Boeing.
Like,
what
understanding why the sentence is 33 years potentially. Like, don't go there. Like, let's get her out and then we'll talk about that shit, okay? Come on, man.
No.
Oh, yeah. They hit me with the numerology 33. It was great.
I agree. I think we can theorize after. Probably not the most appropriate time to talk about
what kind of crazy channel would do numerology content, right?
Numerology? I mean,
crazy. I went to a wedding. Not the one this past weekend, but like 2 weeks before that. One of my friends, the fiance, had a photographer, hired a photographer there, and then her mom passed away like yesterday. And the day that her mom passed away, the photographer hit her up and said, "Hey, sorry for your loss, but can you leave me a good review?" The wedding photographer said that, like DM'd her on that.
Ooh. Okay.
Almost like insensitive, like brain dead shit without even thinking about it. And I don't know if that's just the internet or like, but fuck, like.
A lot of that stuff is automated and they don't know. And then all of a sudden an email goes out in their name from a system that you can't really stop.
Like he acknowledged.
Oh my God.
Like he acknowledged that her mom just died and then asked her to leave him a good review for the wedding photos that happened 2 weeks ago.
No. Okay. That guy's a fucking asshole.
That's actually
like actual insane shit. Like some people just don't have a filter, I guess, or they just don't know. Like,
Crab. The call's coming from inside the house, buddy.
No, I'm not that bad. I wouldn't say that to someone whose mom just died. That's crazy. I can be off a little off the cuff sometimes, but it's okay. It happens to the best.
But yeah, I mean, I've been hearing about this case.
Everyone will be on their best behavior. Yeah.
But no, I've been hearing about this case for a few months now, and to their credit, honestly, Kieran Pine and Charlie Mack reached out to me a couple of weeks ago and were like, we want to do something to get the activist community together to support them, because this is coming up and nobody's really done very much, and the GoFundMe's been sitting. And so I put this whole we all put this whole group together, and we agreed to kind of do what we can to help. And Crab made a flyer already and is working on some graphic stuff. And Descent in Bloom wrote this incredible article to raise awareness, which the day she wrote it and the day it published, Aspen's GoFundMe doubled. So there are good people out there that do understand and want to help. And that was an inspiring, heartwarming thing to see, was that the power of good journalism, the power of reach to an engaged audience that's actually listening and can actually wants to do something and help. Wow. So massive credit to her. But again, this was a team effort. Oz from Beauty and the Boomer helped me with audio editing. And when I went to record the one-on-one with Aspen and Halo, there was something going on because they each had a headset. Restream didn't want to work right. So we ended up using Google Voice, and they were basically like on a phone call, and the audio was phone level, and he did what he could using DaVinci Resolve to clean up the audio. So again, it's just Amber is working on a deck for this thing, and it's really all hands on deck. I mean, 30, 40 people already putting into this, and I appreciate everybody doing that.
Yeah, I just got to say, real
collective than there is as an individual. That's an important thing to realize.
Yeah, I just got to say real quick, Amber, I'm a writer myself. I'm actually the best, like, ever. And no, seriously though.
No, just ask him.
It's proven. Yeah, just ask me. I'll say it. But like, you do really good writing. It's like, it's very, as someone with ADHD, like if someone sucks at writing, I'm just not going to fucking read their shit. Okay. That's it. I'm just going to be like, other thing I need to do. I didn't need to, you got me from start to finish. So just got to give you kudos on that. Keep the writing up. Again, from the best writer ever. According to IMDb, and no, I should have said IGN. No, that's the better joke there. IGN gave me a 10 out of 10 on my writing.
You don't even do 10 out of 10s, you do 5 out of 5s, I think.
Oh. He got a People's Choice Award.
No, the joke is that IGN will literally rate absolute dog shit 5 out of 5. It's just it doesn't even matter. Like
I literally told that to Descent like almost immediately. I'm like, your writing is like brilliant. It's actually really
it's good. It's fucking good.
The description,
yes, it is.
Pacing. You should write short stories. You should write like novels. I really think
it's scary good. She's written like a little children's story. She tried to tell the story from one of the migrants and did it like kind of like a flip book video style that was fucking brilliant. She actually makes reading stuff about the election machines interesting, like, and how fucking corrupt that shit is and how overtaken it is. Actually published an article this week about how Dominion Systems just got bought and now it's called Liberty Votes or something. And oh yeah, he's a MAGA Trumper and it's real bad. But the whole certification, look, we're post-electoralism in this conversation here. But for those who aren't, your machines are completely corrupt, bought, and manipulated and certified by the companies that created the code, paying off the people to certify it.